Hello and welcome to the second season of Ruffells Ad Break. In this episode, I have a chat with Haydn Kerr, Executive Creative Director of Track and Tribal Aotearoa, which are DDB companies. We talk briefs being as much for clients as they are for the agency, the freedom to fail, and creative people being valuable to a business. Also, a massive thanks to our sponsor, Pegasus Bay Wines, producer of some of New Zealand's very best wine.
Ruffells Ad Break.
How would you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm currently the Executive Creative Director of Track and Tribal within the DDB group. So DDB is 250 people up in Auckland, an absurdly big agency of New Zealand's size. For New Zealand's size, it doesn't make any sense that an agency that big should live in such a small place as New Zealand, but it does. And then within that, we've got two agencies called Track and Tribal, which we kind of merged together, which does the kind of digital and the direct and the data thing.
Yep.
And so I head that up. So that's the way I would introduce myself today.
So that's a really pretty concise. You've obviously done that before.
No? Just telling the truth.
Just telling the truth?
Yeah.
There's nothing hidden here.
No.
And who are you as a human?
Well, first I'd go to myself being a dad.
Yep.
Primarily.
Dad over a husband?
Dad first, husband close second.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
how
she'd
that
prefer
changes.
it that way too.
Yeah, okay.
Dog owner.
Yeah.
And a property owner.
Oh, wow.
Of one property. But
Yeah.
My God, that one property absorbs
A lot.
so much time.
Sinkhole.
Yeah, it is.
Energy
It
and
is.
effort.
Yeah. So those are what I do when I'm not working.
What sort of dog are you running? What's that?
Lovely greyhound.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love her so much.
Rehomed her?
Yep. Yeah.
What was
she was a
2 years
racer.
old? What was?
She was coming the end of twos.
Yep.
Yep. And they decided that she was either ours or not for the world.
Yeah.
So
And-
we took her.
Yeah,
happily.
nice. And no
Yeah.
cats on your property then?
There is a cat. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
an asshole man cat that I hate personally, but
Okay, that's all right.
my daughter loves, so he'll
So-
always be
so
there.
he stays.
He's
He
just an
stays.
ass. He just beats up the dog. He's a prick.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What is he, a Tom, a ginger
Yeah,
Tom? Is he?
he just
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just walks
Yeah.
around like
Yeah.
he owns the place.
Yeah.
His name is Ginger Rex, but he's known locally as Jinj Jong Un.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
There
he
we
is
go.
the dictator.
There we go. Okay. Beating the shit out of track dogs.
Anything.
Yeah, out of anything. Or your ankles, everything.
takes me.
Yeah. Hey, so what's childhood like for you? What do you grow up in? What does your family look like? I understand the farm is not too far away from you, but it's miles away from you now. So what does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, just an extremely loving mother, like extremely doting and caring, and just I was her first son, and so therefore I was everything to her for 5 years, and I think that's sort of we lived in a bit of a fantasy, strange world together, in which all of my fantasies were, placated and made real. So like I had a bedroom that looked exactly like a starship.
Oh, wow.
Except it had cowboy doors.
Okay.
Because of course I should have cowboy.
What is that? Spaceballs?
swing doors. I don't know what.
What is
but
that?
yeah, just as an example, like every possible weird thing a 4 and 5 year old can think of.
Yeah, wow.
I had that. Yeah, so completely doted on. So
And that was her doing. She's the one
absolutely,
who said that.
I think your dad
things.
was close behind with the saws and actually doing the work. So I think that's what childhood was like for me. And then, unfortunately, I had some sisters arrived soon after that, which I've never quite gotten over.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Or forgiven.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many sisters? 2 sisters?
3 sisters.
3 sisters.
3 sisters. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now probably my best friends. But
Right.
Yeah.
Probably. How long did that take?
Probably. I think we got really close. We all ended up in London at the same time.
Yep.
And, as time goes on, you just, become very, very close. And, sometimes it's hard to make friends when you're overseas and everyone's got very established friend groups and things like that. So you just get closer and closer to your
And
family.
they're the only people who can really understand the context or understand the humour maybe? Or
We certainly have shared some jokes.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
So being the eldest, does that
Yes.
make you naturally the leader of the gang, or does that mean that you felt like
I think
you
there's
had?
a lot in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely a lot in there.
Do you feel protective against?
Not massively.
No.
Well, not massively. I think they probably would protect me before I'd be useful and protect their limb. But certainly in terms of like having ideas and suggesting them and seeing them through and getting other people on board is certainly a part of my life.
So coercion from an early age.
Towards a vision,
towards a vision.
Which is best for everybody.
Towards the space spaceport or wherever the hell it was. What was
Others
that?
may not have seen what I can see, so I'm just helping everyone get there.
Helping them get there. And so is that, are we talking Star Wars or are we talking...
This is pre-Star. Star Wars existed. Yeah. I've got absolutely no idea. I don't remember, like maybe Buck Rogers.
Oh, wow.
That sort of vaguely feels familiar. But
Holy shit.
Star Wars, yeah.
Holy
I've got
shit.
no idea.
That sounds great. And the sisters...
There was even a keypad to get up to my bunk. They'd ripped apart a calculator.
No way.
But I had to go put in my special code to be able to get onto my bunk.
That sounds mental. That's great. That's great. I lived in a flat, actually, when I was early 20s, which had a space lock. And I lived with at that time, he was a jazz musician, 2-bedroom place, this massive mansion, which had been just left to rot. There was a block of wood in the floor in the bathroom. You could sit on the toilet, lift it up and see the kitchen below. But we had these 2 doors, the outside world and then the inside of the flat. And just this, because it had been, divided so weirdly, we had the space of about sort of 3 meters where you could leave the outside world behind before you entered the safety and sanctity of whatever that sordid...
So like a corridor.
You could say a corridor. You could say it was a corridor, but it was, I don't know if it was long enough. What length defines a corridor? I mean, is there a...
Was there a space lock?
You
couldn't have both the doors open at the same time?
This was kind of the rule that we decided, as early 20s.
So functioned as a space lock.
Doing whatever the fuck we were doing and pursuing creative ideas. We just decided... as if you exit the outside world, you've got to shut that door before, and both have got to be closed before you can enter or exit. So that's what we did. So maybe I was just late to the game. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Your imagination finally could take over.
Finally caught up, when I wasn't at home. And so now you have this great relationship. But was that... when they turned up, were you put out by that? Were they competing now for that precious time? Or?
Yeah, I think that was. I don't remember it, but I believe that's the psychological story. Yeah,
and you stepped it up. Or did you just let it go?
Vacate it. From
5 years old, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm gone. See you guys.
Thanks.
It's been good. I've got other stuff going on. Yeah. So around that time, friends and tennis.
This keypad's not gonna play itself.
I'm just gonna lock it from the other side.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. Okay, cool. And how do you think has that early stuff? Because they talk about the first 1,000 days, right? It's the formational kind of stuff.
That's entirely it. Like the other thing, one of the questions you sent was, is it a surprise or is it? I mean, it's that no one wasn't written down that I ended up where I is, but or I am.
Where you
pretty
is?
Clear where I is, but it's pretty clear that was it's absolutely the right place. Like it's actually a very straight line from where I was, and that's why I'm so goddamn happy. I get to do the thing that I always really loved doing. I mean, it wasn't called advertising, but it was certainly called using your brain and making up stuff.
Yeah. And so what do you do then? What do you do?
So
we know the title,
oh my
but
God.
What do you do then? Well, I mean, and how has that spaceship or that cowboy, whatever the hell that was, scene, how has that informed where you're at now?
I work with others to come up with big ideas and make them happen. That's it. Keypads, yeah, exactly. Like, what's the most outrageous thing that we can possibly imagine that we could feasibly achieve? And let's do it.
With the access and help of 250
odd people, and some nice clients that help, enable and support and want it.
Yeah. Well, I remember. I mean, I know you said you were a different human and it was a different time, but I remember from. When would that have been? I guess late 90s, early 2000s. Yep. And there was a theatre group that you were part of called the Clinic. And you were doing some mad stuff. Mad
It
was
stuff.
really, and for small town Christchurch, probably pushing some fucking boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
and you guys were doing it in style. You weren't
Yeah.
half-assing it.
No,
it was
100%
it was
commitment
committed.
and as polished and as brilliant as it could be.
So what the hell was that? What was that at that time?
Well, I mean, it came out of university, and there was a small group of us who were really, really passionate about making some good things, and I was really keen on technology and bringing technology into theatre, which at the time was kind of radical.
Yeah.
And just a lot of people getting together and kind of the same story, like being quite insane together and then putting something together on for others to watch.
So that's a fine line, though, right? Because I've seen a lot of insane stuff that never really gets to have an audience.
No, I mean, we were, when I say insane, but we often were basing it off something like Alice in Wonderland or, quite well-known stories that people could follow.
They could access easily.
Yeah, exactly. But then, varying off that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not.
But I actually preferred the things when it was just batshit bonkers.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And like you tend to like more like jazz or something than any kind of narrative theatre, That was what we should have been doing. Just stayed in that place. Ultimately, that challenge of satisfying an audience and actually getting a goddamn audience and creating something that I believe in. That was ultimately fatal, though. Like to try and achieve that is just not achievable. I mean, what does it take to get you to go to the theatre now?
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Oh, shit. I don't know.
Gunpoint?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's really
so
hard
to get out and go. You know what I mean? But
I mean,
we're on the other side and trying to make that happen. Contrast that to this world where I'm in now, where money and resources and support and it's not unusual to get 7 million views on something we do on a daily basis. It's like. It was always kind of grinded my gears a little bit about theatre, like how hard we had to work to get people to see something that we worked for 3 years on some things.
Yeah.
But yet it was still so hard to get people to watch it. Like,
yeah, but why is that? Is that because what you're trying to do is so contrary to where public opinion sits, or is it because you're trying to ask an audience to engage in your brain?
Yeah, well, just getting people to come out and visit live theatre is just really hard.
Yeah.
And because now I'm on the other side as an audience member who never goes anywhere and does anything.
Yeah, but you also, like you said, you have a dog, children, wife,
et cetera.
house.
Yeah. But as a creator, I wasn't really understanding of that. I want to make something that's so good that yes, you drop whatever you're doing and you're coming. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I feel like I'm not.
I don't know who that is. Who can do that? I don't know who can do that. I mean, some
Fred again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
There are people that
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, yeah. Shit, that's interesting. How do you then go from the live performance world to what's the next step? You jump on a plane and you go overseas. What does it look like?
Before that, so we were making theatre. We made a massive loss. So we lost a lot of money. Like that was really the terminal thing. We took a show to Auckland and it really failed. And all of a sudden, I'd never been in the position of I understood finally. Oh, hang on, this is my money. And so you mean, hang on. If we lose money, I have to pay that money back. Holy shit. Okay. And that's the moment it kind of got real for us. And we had to get ourselves out of a hole.
Yep.
And and around that time, you started to go, okay, what is this really going to be?
How do you do that? How do you get out of the hole?
Well, we did some summer Shakespeare.
Yeah. Okay, go back to the classics.
We worked ourselves out of that. And that helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
Those big summer Shakespeare things?
Yeah. The stuff where people feel embarrassed because they don't know what anyone's saying, but they go along because that's culture.
We never actually did Shakespeare though, but in those big summer park council events.
Summer times.
Those things.
Events,
and all gold coin and oh my god, they were huge.
Wow,
they were wonderful, and they got us out of the hole. But I think the impact of that was I don't want to be in this position again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be in that position.
And did that colour you against that live performance stuff? And so it's like, I'm done with that.
I cannot rely on this.
What do you take from that and learn that you can then transfer over though?
From that world, I think it's the working with a group and making something together.
Yep.
That's still in there. That's such a joy for me. And so that's what I've taken forward.
Yep.
And then also being really aware of production realities, and I think that you understand what your budget is, and you're always trying to work to that.
Yep.
And bravery, like strange psychological bravery to be able to say weird things, or you know what I mean, and believe that maybe something could come out of this. Ridiculous optimism that you have to have.
Are you still ridiculously optimistic?
Stupidly,
what happened?
Delusional optimism. You have to have a ridiculous, delusional, insane optimism. Every new brief. They say it's like
drinking
a second marriage. It's the triumph of hope over experience. Do you know what I mean? This is the one. Just because the last 10,000 haven't
been the one.
But this
is the one.
Is the one.
There it is.
Come on.
Deep,
this
undying faith
happen.
in the brief.
This is absolutely.
How many shit briefs have you had though?
Oh, plenty of shit briefs, and also I've made a lot of shit work too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a lot of craps.
Yeah,
that didn't work.
Yeah, lots of bad ex-wives. I mean,
lots of ex-wives.
Lots of yeah. I don't know. It went both ways.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
No, I'm not going to go any further into that. We're going to verge into misogyny.
Well, let's not go there. Holy shit. Okay. All right. And so. Let's look into maybe a brief, and let's look into do you have to see the spark of an idea, or do you have to see that the brief is concise and that you can get across the line with it? Does that have to exist up front, or is it always an investigation? What is it?
No, there's always an investigation, and I think the best briefs are sort of jumping off points. I sometimes I think that the brief is more useful for the client, you know what I mean? Helps them understand, okay, this is the space we're going to be in. We really don't, as creatives, I'm so sorry, we don't pay a lot of attention to the written brief. We don't, and that's not a bad thing, I don't think, But I think the best ideas are somewhere into our strange intuitions, and it's far more important that we follow that than follow what might be written on the page.
But I suppose that's and then maybe, am I wrong when I say this? But maybe that's not your corner to fight,
exactly.
A creative director doesn't need to.
Well, there are some that will go after and try and get the brief exactly right. I really don't care. But it is really important I understand from the client's perspective, where they're at, and maybe that's more of an emotional thing, like meeting them, and always the best work comes out of a good relationship. Always, I'm sure you know.
And you say good relationship. I qualify a good relationship from one where I can be frank and honest.
Totally.
Is that your qualification?
But emotionally understanding each other, whatever. I know what you're looking for. I couldn't write it down, but I get a sense of where you'd like to go.
Hey, that seems really intangible, and you work
intangible.
You work with these big corporate.
The work is intangible. It's entirely intangible. Yeah. We're talking about. Our whole job is to try and make an intangible thing tangible.
Yeah.
And everybody loves a formula and some rules and a brief and a structure and things, but honestly, when you look at a billboard, what's happening is entirely intangible. Whether that succeeds or fails.
But hold on,
it's still a billboard.
How do we attribute the sale, though?
Well, that's another thing. But you can rationally do that after the fact. But that emotional or irrational thing that's happening between the audience and a piece of work, that is not rational. That is not as you expect.
It's the stars and it's the keypad and it's the dream, right?
Exactly. Thank you.
Well,
it is entirely.
I get it. Without being completely boring myself senseless, after the earthquakes, we had an absolute clusterfuck of a time. We managed to push over our house and build a new one. In that house, I built a tree house, internal, with a ladder.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And we hauled up, there's a fucking bed up there and these little things. My kids didn't even get it, I got that for me. That was for me.
I'm so pleased for you.
I don't use it, but I have it.
Yes.
And exactly. that one thing means that I won.
Sense.
And that was okay.
And you know what? I don't think the moment when I walk into the beer cooler and I'm choosing a beer to drink, I'm not that dissimilar to you and your treehouse in that moment. You know, all of these liquids are mostly identical, but you know, if I can get that one that I don't know why, but I just love it, and you know, and I get that, and I buy it, and I take it home, and I open it, and I drink it. The liquid is entirely the same as all the other ones. The effect is exactly the same.
Yep.
But you know, I've got that precious thing, and I said, "What is that?"
It's the absence of sorrow.
No, it'd be a wrong analogy, maybe, but you know what I mean. But what is that? You know, that marketing thing that happened in that moment. Well, you can call it marketing, but you know, this emotional, intellectual, strange process that's happened, whereby I buy this product and it means something to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That is not rational,
and it's enough, right?
Entirely.
You know,
that's everything. That's everything.
Yeah. That's interesting. And I suppose when you think about it that way, you think about all of the little wins. You think about how your kids did something, how your fucking bullshit dog did something that you want to kill that dog for, and yet it does that one thing, and you go, "Oh, everything is forgiven." You know,
so sweet.
So sweet. How lovely you are, my children who are asleep. What about work? Did you work? Did you do jobs, real jobs?
Never. No.
I mean,
no. I did. I had some awful jobs actually, inspired by your question.
Go on. What are they?
Because I vaguely had something to do with theatre and performance,
you knew there was no way to pay your rent.
Yeah, it did. But it also meant that I ended up, and I think it was my first job in advertising, that you ended up being available for whenever somebody needs a body to do something odd.
Yeah, right.
And so I've done some odd.
Okay, what are the odd? What's the oddest?
I was a leprechaun.
Okay, great.
Yep, and I'm
it's quite tall.
A bit tall for a leprechaun. Not as tall as you, but it's still a bit too tall to be a leprechaun.
I would argue.
That was the worst. That was one of the worst. It was for a Guinness activation.
Okay.
And I was so excited that this advertising agency was holding auditions, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is it! I'm going to make my break in advertising." And I went and saw them. They were in a hotel room, at the back of the square there. I was like, "Oh, this is huge." And then they said, "Great, you've got the job. Wonderful. I'm a leprechaun." Even worse,
you're the only guy who turned up.
And probably I was. I was a leprechaun at an Irish pub that was run by and owned by some people who were above me at high school.
Oh shit!
And here I was turning up on the morning of St. Patrick's Day in a leprechaun costume,
made it.
And that wasn't as bad as it got either. Do you know
go on.
I was turned up for a gig one morning, and they said, "Cool, you're going to be Father Christmas." I was 20, maybe.
Yeah.
I was the Father Christmas in the New Brighton Christmas parade. So I got on this speedboat. They took me out to sea, came back in, like, "Hey, everyone, it's Father Christmas." They was like, "No, it's not. That is a 20-year-old guy that you've just stuffed." And then I had to go around the whole town at the back of the parade, waving at everybody, everyone just going,
"Oh shit!
The worst Father Christmas."
16 years old, I was the Toy World Bear at the Palms
that's
Mall.
A suitable.
Yeah, well,
your beer
oh come on, man! It's like, I can see through the fucking mouth of this thing with a mesh on a bicycle helmet. You get a clip on, right? I can't see a thing. I kick over a 4-year-old because she runs at me and I can't see her.
God.
I get pushed over by 3 skinheads who decide that that'll be good fun. That sucked.
That sucked.
I'm glad I talk about it as much as I can, but yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So was that it? Were they the jobs that you went after, or was there?
No, it's after that.
Well,
stay the hell away from anything to do with it. Like commercial performance acting kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
And did you go straight from acting to advertising, or was that pretty much the leap?
Pretty much the gig. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as being much of a separation. It was kind of the same job. So weirdly, radio sat in the middle there. So I was actually hunting around trying to meet people in agencies, and then someone from my theatre world got the contract to deliver advertising for RDU, the radio station here in Christchurch, and said, "Could I come on as a creative?" And I was like, "Great."
Oh shit!
I can write words.
Yeah,
I can put letters in the right order.
I had a horrific spot Tuesday 2 till 4. I was
On
the
RDU.
DJ on RDU when you back in late 90s when everything had to be delivered in a whisper and you had to
And you
show
play weird,
no emotion, have no connection with the thing. It was
just vaguely sound disinterested, which is what everyone wants from a
that's
radio
right.
host.
That's right.
They
It's
don't
weird,
seem
isn't
to
it?
want to be there.
It's so strange, but at the time it made a lot of sense. At the time, I sort of felt like maybe I was doing something, and then
So 4 years. I
4
was
years
at RDU,
Okay,
and that's where I sort of learned how to make ads.
Yeah, right.
I apologise to everybody in Christchurch who had to listen to me at school.
Yeah,
because that's
okay,
what it was.
that's what it was.
I was copying. I did a lot of copying.
Yep.
Just horrific, like blatant rip-offs of
your own stuff or of other.
of ads that I heard of overseas.
Yep.
Just straight out copied it.
Yep.
And I sort of I don't mind that.
I was going to say, is that all right? I think that's okay, as long as
I don't think legally.
No, maybe.
but I think your genius steals.
Yeah.
That's a phrase.
Yeah.
We were all just trying to. We're making versions of things we've seen before. But I think as a learning experience, I give myself a pass. Yep, that's a great way to learn.
Yeah,
Just
do
by
it.
copy.
Do it on someone's dollar.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sleep well at night.
Yeah, okay.
Sleep okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm
and those were
surprised
good
because
years.
you're probably not paid enough at
No,
RDU to be.
they actually looked after me. Yeah,
okay,
that was
good.
the moment that I kind of learned something that I remember. A station manager said, "It's strange. Clients are signing because of your creative," and I was like, "Oh, this thing makes you money, and then I get them.
Okay.
I understand this now."
Okay.
That was a great revelation.
Yeah,
to
right.
understand the financial value of creativity.
So previously you were thinking
I was just doing it like
it's a job.
it's kind of a job, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't really appreciate that clients would actually, receive this treatment that I would give their work, their briefs, and then really value that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hadn't really understood that my perspective was as valuable to them
Yeah, cool.
as it has turned out to be. Who knew?
As it continues to be.
Yeah.
Great. That's
Not
great.
bad.
Yeah. Those little surprises, we've got to enjoy them, right? Those surprises are wonderful.
Yeah.
They're a wonderful
It'd
thing.
be great to learn that earlier, like to understand that
But
actually creativity is valuable to businesses. I don't think that's something that you learn as a creative person.
Yeah.
Creativity is some odd, weird thing that you selfish bastard,
What the
you're doing
fuck is
it
a
in your
creative
garage.
person? Because I see people who are doing sort of really mundane jobs, who are solving problems within those jobs. They don't consider themselves creative.
No.
They are.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just, is it about giving yourself permission to be a creative person, or is that enough?
I mean, if you think about the kind of creativity that I'm talking about that we do, it is really taking a leap and doing what hasn't been done. But I guess the essential thing that you're describing is the joy of making something and being so committed to just seeing that thing to be as good as it possibly can be. And I still think that's 90% of my life.
Yep.
Is just the thrill of making something, which I'm sure you know
it.
very, very well, looking at it and finally going, I can't improve on this.
Yeah, that's it.
That is
For the parameters
great.
that we have to work with, this is probably better
so
than
happy.
it deserves to be.
Yeah, that's it.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah.
That's actually, and absolutely, there are people making fishing rods probably right now that feel exactly the same way.
I'm bleeding on this job.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
No,
It
fuck, I
probably
love
doesn't
it.
need it.
Doesn't need it.
Probably doesn't need
Doesn't
this
need it.
gear.
But
I
I
remember
love
back
it.
to the RDU days,
Yeah.
like the people, they admitted later, they looked at me, I didn't understand why I cared so much. Like, why are you putting in this time? Why does it matter? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
God damn, it matters.
So is that, I don't know what you're allowed to say in 2023, but is that an imbalance in your brain? I mean, what is it that you care so much? I mean, can you say that? I don't know.
No, but I think going back to fishing rod guy that I just invented, like I wouldn't say his brain's imbalanced. You know what I mean? I think all of us have that moment where we, this matters to me that I get this so right.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm just going to really appreciate its craft, isn't it? I'm really going to appreciate this when it becomes perfect.
Yep.
And until then,
I'm
going
working
to
on
be
it.
really unhappy.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not going to sleep on it with this real horrible knot in my stomach.
And nobody will understand it,
No
no
one
matter how many
understand or
coffees
appreciate. A lot of the worst thing you can say to me is, "That's good enough. It's fine."
It's not fucking good enough.
Absolutely not.
The fuck are you talking about? Who are you judging good enough? I gave you
I am good enough.
The badge of good
I
enough. The
decide
sheriff.
good enough.
Fuck.
I'm the sheriff of good enough.
I'm Trump. What? Fuck, I don't know. That went weird. Hey, what about the first piece of work that you did? And it doesn't have to be the first, but was there a moment where you kind of had... Because I remember that. I remember taking a photograph for a band. They were sitting around in a spa pool wearing netball bibs in the pool, and they were sort of sitting there like that. I don't know what the fuck it was. At the time, it seemed to make some kind of sense. The night lights were on and all that. And it was just a fun moment. And I went, holy shit. I said, get into the pool. They got in the pool.
And it turned out real good.
And now it's printed in this magazine, you know. And I went, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, do you have a thing, a moment, a first moment?
I was trying to scratch back.
It's got too many.
Yeah,
too many.
It's too far back. Yeah. One of the moments that comes to mind was sort of when maybe the first time when an idea kind of went crazy, you know, and weirdly we were doing this strange thing.
Viral.
It did well in the days when you couldn't put media behind something, so your actual media strategy was to go viral. You couldn't do a spend on YouTube. The only way to get YouTube views was to make something so good that somebody would watch it and then go on MSN Messenger and tell or email it to everybody. That's your media plan. That's our media
what was
plan.
it? What was that one?
It was for projectors.
Yeah.
Back when projectors were a thing, and it was Epson, and we got we rigged a guy up to go around and play games. He had a generator on his back, so he'd be able to game while everywhere he went, all around London. And and it was kind of fine. But then suddenly that sort of got in the millions of views, and that was a moment to go, oh, okay, interesting. This is that again, like that idea of value, because it was so weird. And then all of a sudden, all of these people were seeing it purely because of the creative. Like if it had been more formulaic and, the benefits of this projector is
and more sensible. It
would have failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But instead, all of that media money, like that media that you're gaining is purely off the back of your idea.
Yeah. Yeah, which is it's not impossible to get these days, but it's really difficult.
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
No. So part of my job is TikTok, is helping everyone with TikTok, and we're back. It's back, baby.
Fuck.
Yep. So unpaid viral views are back.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because I think media is good for creative, but it makes you lazy,
right? And
it makes clients lazy,
right?
Because it doesn't matter what we put in this ad, we're going to force people to watch it, But you know what? All I have to do is turn my eyes away, or not even remember it. You know what I mean? And it betrays the truth that actually attention is something that you have to actually work for. You know what I mean? You can't buy attention. There's a lie there. So,
fuck, this is great. Okay, so we're at this point, and we've been talking about this quite a bit internally, and we've been saying, oh fuck, do I say it? Yeah, of course I say it. We've been saying businesses have kind of, so for us ad nauseum. So I'll do this really quickly. The earthquakes hit here. And business people turn to the press, the newspaper, right? The broadsheet, which it was at that time, Fairfax, because they knew it and trusted it, right? That's not an unusual habit. But at that time, it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you going backwards? But it's about feeling secure and feeling security, right? I feel like, arguably, school me on this, I feel like we're kind of at a point where maybe a crossroads where some clients have gone, we've gone as far as we can with our neuroplasticity, and we can no longer see this TikTok world, or we can't see that. We're not going to jump on board. So there's a kind of like a resistance to doing the new stuff, which is actually kind of the old stuff, because they don't have it in their wheelhouse or in their ability to see that as beneficial. Is that where we are? Have we got it wrong?
It is TikTok is brutal as a platform. You have to give over all control, all creative principles. Everything goes out the door, and you have to play by the rules of TikTok. And if you do, you're going to succeed off the charts. The amount of unpaid views that you can get is ridiculous. But are you as a brand, and are you as an individual able to, so many of the things that we've done that have, in fact, every single one of the biggest, most viral things we've done, nobody knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, right.
Nobody. Actually nobody.
So then that comes to the relationship with the client.
Yeah, exactly. Then they're seeing the big prize and they're trusting, okay, and you've got enough scale, you know what I mean? You're trying lots of things, and one of them just goes. It just goes.
And it's enough.
Yeah, and then you keep on doing that one thing. Yeah. But you have to play by the rules of the platform and by the audience, not by you. As soon as you put your rules in, it is over. Game over.
Do you have that chat with your clients?
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Well, but it's pretty obvious, It's like, oh, great, I'm doing all this stuff and nothing's happening. Yeah.
No,
I'm not surprised.
It's obvious for you and me. It's obvious.
Very hard. It is very hard for some clients.
Yeah.
But like, what are we doing? Like, what are you holding on to?
I don't know. What
are you protecting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. I don't know. And you're not young.
Oh, thanks a lot.
But for you to be like waving the TikTok flag is incongruous with.
It's the most exciting entertainment platform in the world.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not fucking saying it. Yeah, I'm not saying it.
It is. I mean, it's so exciting.
Yeah. You get to do weird stuff again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's rewarded.
Because people are interested.
Tangible. Yeah, they've made it tangible because you're rewarded with views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anything, so anything you make gets shown to a bunch of people. The algorithm goes, hang on, there's this kind of people like this kind of stuff. I'm going to show it to a lot more people like that kind of guy.
Yep.
And then off you go. And the roller coaster is phenomenal, and it is absolutely worth it. But they make it tangible at the end, so you're rewarded by the number of views you get at the end, And so, we've had plenty of. I think for Samsung this year, we've had 11 videos go over 1 million views, completely unpaid, at a cost of almost nothing to produce. They're all just handheld, strange, and weird little bits of content. But for a brand like Samsung, it matters so goddamn much because, of course, we're in this battle with Apple, and we in New Zealand are the only market in the entire world where the highest, proud to own factor.
Yeah, wow.
So people are proud to own their Samsung,
wow.
Unlike anywhere else in the world. And I take a tiny bit of credit for that, in the work that we do. A tiny bit, not all, but a tiny bit.
For that fucking monster.
There are other things going on. Yeah.
There's some other things, but actually it's me.
A tiny bit. Us.
Yeah, us. Yeah.
I actually don't do a lot on it myself.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Hey, I mean, I feel like all of the questions are irrelevant. I think in a weird kind of esoteric way, we've sort of delved into a bunch of stuff. What about war stories? Do you have anything that was really lumpy? And then you went, I fucked that up. Or
I fucked up so many things. Do you want to hear about the worst day of my life?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if I'll say the brand.
Okay, don't say the brand.
I won't say the brand.
Don't say the brand.
But it was a massive anniversary for one of New Zealand's biggest brands. And of course, this idiot just back from London got his first gig back in New Zealand, and he'd been working with Twitter and doing all this stuff overseas. And he's like, and the guy said, let's do a game of Pass the Parcel. And I was like, let's do an online game of Pass the Parcel, but we'll also do it in store as well. And they were like, yes, let's do it. Massive anniversary. In New Zealand's biggest mall, for one of our biggest retailers, we built the largest possible Pass the Parcel. It was meters high, meters round, on a spinny thing. And so hundreds of people, national ad campaign for it. Tune in for our big birthday Pass the Parcel.
Big dollars.
Big dollars. Hundreds, thousands of people maybe turned up to play. And we went to get it started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the website died. The website died. So we're like, okay, let's get the website up. The whole thing was built off the website. The live experience was based on the website. everything was happening based on this website. The website had died. Turned out it had been hacked.
Oh, fuck.
So it was a DNS attack. So the whole national app, and the client cannot say that we've had a hack because they don't want to reward hackers with this.
Yeah.
So we just have to go out and say, it's postponed, it's not happening.
Oh, fuck.
And so now I immediately know that I've been fired. Like I've obviously lost my job. We've obviously lost this massive client. Do you know the worst part? There were still 1,000 people waiting to play this game. And we had tens of thousands of dollars worth of prizes that needed to be given away. But because it was all based off the website, we didn't know how it would work without the website. You know what I mean? Deciding how the thing spun.
Yeah, for sure.
And so as with in the back of my mind, knowing that I've just lost my job and lost this client, I had to figure out in front of everybody how this game show was going to go.
Hayden?
Absolutely solid. Well, everyone's freaking out behind me trying to save the day and just actually save their jobs and everything. So I had to suddenly improvise an entire game show in front of everybody, and I tried and worked out. The worst moment is so we'd spin this huge dial and then it would stop, and I got people to stand up on the stage, and it was the worst moment was when it stopped, and it stopped in between two people, and I was like, okay, and I got out some rope and I was measuring, because this is clearly in I think there was a swimming pool or something, or a overseas holiday at stake. Then after that, I went and got horrifically drunk at this mall. We found
At the mall.
the one place that sold the whiskey at the mall.
This is the closest place
And then I went home after that, and I'd also forgotten that we had a yoga lesson at home that my wife had arranged that I'd missed. And I sat down, and then the yoga teacher said, this seems like a good time for me to tell you about your past lives. And then she started, anyway, so that was...
Holy shit.
That was the worst day of my life. Professional. No, I think with life. I think life.
But also, what an awesome story. I mean, I got so much joy from that, as I'm sure our listeners and or viewers will, because that's staying in.
But yeah, that's the lows that you can reach. And it was absolutely traumatic.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Didn't lose my job.
You didn't lose your job?
I've still got the job. I've only had one job in New Zealand.
Holy shit.
Didn't lose my job.
So they're cool.
Yeah, freedom to fail is one of our core principles.
No way. No way.
I didn't intend for this to happen.
No.
And we didn't lose the client either. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad day.
No, well, the day was bad. The recovery was
hugely traumatic. But the resilience.
After it all. But we've got freedom to fail as a tenant. So as long as you don't intend to fail, you can't get fired.
Well, as long as that's lived by, and it certainly sounds like it is. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, I dig that. I think that's pretty cool, actually.
Best day.
The best day?
Do you want to hear about best day?
I mean, I don't know. Is it clickbait enough?
That's only misery. If you've got second worst day.
No, I don't want second worst. Give us the best day.
Well, it was pretty amazing to meet a child that wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for your campaign.
Yeah.
And fathers who would never have had children if it wasn't for something you'd done.
Yeah, go on. Tell me, man.
So a few years ago, I was working with the New Zealand AIDS Foundation.
Yep.
And they gave us the great, every year they have HIV Awareness Day, and they want to do some big campaign for it. And a great team pitched the idea of let's create a sperm bank to prove that it's actually impossible for men with HIV to pass it on. You can not only have sex with, you can have a child with.
Yeah.
But if you're under treatment, it's impossible for you to pass HIV on.
Yeah, wow.
And they bought it. So but they took it real seriously. And we're making a sperm bank. And so incredible global cam.
I've got some pretty gnarly images going on.
Is
it what I'm
it's
imagining?
Pretty close to what you're imagining. Yeah. So men with HIV were able to match them up with women who wanted to create, because there's actually a sperm shortage. I don't know if you know that in New Zealand. It's actually really hard to get your hands on good quality fathering sperm. So
really?
So we were able to match men who are living with HIV with women who understand the science and trusted enough to do the deed.
No way.
Yeah.
And
they made babies. There's about 9 of them in New Zealand.
Babies.
And then the story went global, you know what I mean? And so who knows how many hundreds of children around the world. Lots of people with HIV didn't even know that they could have children.
Yeah, wow.
And to meet these fathers who'd never set out to get HIV.
Yep.
You know,
Totally.
with HIV,
Totally.
you know what I mean?
Totally.
They are dudes like you and I. That just life
Shit
took a
got
turn,
fucked up.
and they contracted HIV.
Yep.
But they'd never lost this wish to be able to have a child.
Wow.
And so when you meet them and they're like, I am now a dad.
Wow. I thought you were going to tell me about your own children being born, but no.
No,
that's not
other babies.
Other babies without your input. Well, specifically,
some input.
Yeah, some.
Yeah. Not the crucial part. I wouldn't say I'm the father or anything.
But kind of.
I do expect to be have their middle name maybe.
Yeah. Hey, what about? Okay, so there are a couple of things which. I'm interested in because it's sort of, I guess it's out of our control a little bit. And I'm okay with out of control. I'm okay with a little bit of chaos. I think actually some of that is where, when you've got that that deadline pressure and that's where really, you test yourself, I guess. Timing. We've had a bunch of weird shit happen, inflation or financial crises or whatever, we know that that's on a cycle, but then there's this thing where the country gets locked down and then, all that kind of stuff. Timing's
everything. You mean like when an idea emerges
versus, how do you make it run? How do you make it work?
Yeah, you can't, can you? I mean, absolutely. The timing in which an idea emerges is such a huge this weird alchemy, like you never know if an idea is going to take off until it does. Yeah. And I'd say I've had more ideas. I've been part of more projects that haven't emerged, haven't quite reached that point, and why I don't know. Yeah. An analogy, for example, and actually the moment when someone told me this story is a really useful story. I
got stuck on that. I was straight back to Crocodile Dundee.
It's a plane, dude.
Yeah, let's go.
Not a very good one.
I was confused.
But so we were sitting around, so we'd spent ages building this thing called iTest, which basically it's a website that turns an iPhone into a Samsung. So the people on iPhones can experience Samsung and get over that absurd, strange, irrational barrier that we all have. So anyway, we built this. Took us over many months actually, and we were sitting around a table just like this. We'd finally got it up and live. And Mike, the creative director on it, was just saying that sometimes the plane just never quite gets off the ground, and you're not fully in control. You build the plane, you build the runway.
Do the tests.
Is it actually going to rise? And in that very moment, as you're telling that story, the producer said, "Hang on, there's something weird. There's 10,000 people on the site. The analytics must be broken." But no, it had actually been shared with MacBook. In America, it had blown up. We had 2 million people visit the site that first weekend off a non-existent media spend.
Yep.
Yeah, so sometimes they do just take off.
Sometimes they take off, yeah. The wind changes or whatever it is.
The wind changes. The timing just works for you.
Yeah.
And that's somehow the joy and the frustration of it, you know what I mean? And the hope that you...
And if your clients are too caught up in measuring metrics, then...
no one measures more metrics than Samsung, But now, as a result, they've seen the success of it, and it's become... It's 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years now, actually, and it has turned into a product that actually we build for Samsung globally.
Yep. Awesome. That's
so
great.
It's launched in countries that I didn't believe it was a country.
Okay, what's the name of that country?
It's like Comoro or something.
I don't know.
Comoro.
I don't know.
I looked down the list and we're like, that's not a country, and someone's like, it's off the coast of West Africa.
Oh, really? I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to believe you, blind faith in you. I didn't really know about Suriname either. I was like, where is that?
Probably got iTest. Probably the Samsung product's probably there.
Yeah, phenomenal. Hey, and then what about the old work-life balance? Is that something? Is that after?
COVID's been brilliant for work-life balance. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, my wife and I often talk about the fact that it didn't used to be around a whole lot. I mean, my daughter just made up the most beautiful word. We were talking about work, and I asked her, do I mostly work? Is that how you perceive me? And she said, no, you don't work mostly. You work lotsly.
Okay.
Lotsly. And I think I would still do work lotsly.
But you're at home
But I'm
doing
not
it.
mostly. yeah. But no, evening work.
Yeah.
I probably do one Sunday a month and then the odd evenings. So it's certainly nothing like it was pre-COVID where, it was pretty standard for me to be there. I didn't consider it late as long as I was home before my own bedtime.
Your own bedtime?
My own bedtime.
Yeah.
Obviously, the kids' bedtime I would miss, but if it's not late until you lose sleep used to be more a rule. But now I look back on...
I don't know. I think that's fucked.
Comfortable. It is.
I think that's fucked.
I think you're right. You've diagnosed that. Yeah. But also, we are the last generation to think like that.
Yeah.
I remember saying that to my juniors, and they're like, no.
Okay. Grace.
That's not going to happen.
Fuck you. She's supposed to be here recording this.
Yeah.
Grace is not here because she's in Auckland because she had a gig she had to go to.
Yeah, there you are.
It's like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, but we got to go and do this
and
stuff.
that's actually more important.
Holy shit. And it is
it's
more
my
important.
fucking life.
And it is more important,
But I'm with you. I'm still
Let's
in this.
make it work.
Yeah, no.
And whatever. And then you
it's
get
the right move.
I
don't know if we in our generation, whether we let ourselves live by that rule. I'm trying to.
I'm trying. Yeah, work in progress. Hayden, what a fucking pleasure.
Well, my pleasure, dude.
Thank you, man. Great to talk some bullshit with you and to have some wisdom. So I appreciate it.
If you found the wisdom, you did well.
Yeah, well, you got editors.
Yeah, maybe they can insert words too.
That's it. Thank you. Thanks for listening, Pod Peeps. For more info on how we work or what we can bring to your business or project, get in touch at ruffles.co.nz. See you on the next one.